Hello, welcome to this episode of Let's Make Millions. I'm CEO of Canella Media DTC, Rob Medved.
And I'm Bill Raymond, EVP Managing Partner with Canella Media.
And we have a friend and a guest on the show today, Eric Deutsch, who is the mind behind and part of the team that helped build some of the biggest brands in direct-to-consumer marketing over the past couple of decades. Started with Playboy, which is probably one of the biggest known brands by logo in the world, and moved his way through the ranks of Guthrie-Rinker and has worked with some of the biggest celebrities around. J-Lo.
None bigger than you two, though.
Cindy Crawford, Bill
you.
Raymond, Ciara, Ellen DeGeneres, just to drop a few. So one of the great lines that we like from you is the benefit of the benefit. And we say it all the time. We have the benefit of having you on the show today. The benefit of that benefit to all our listeners and viewers is they get to hear your pearls of wisdom that you're going to drop. You have a company, eForce Brands. We're lucky enough to have you in this office a couple days, 2-3 days a week. We've worked on a few projects now together, a few campaigns. We bring you in to help with creative ideation, producer, director, ad man, ad copy guy. We're old school. We've been doing this for a few decades now. And it's amazing that it really is kind of a rinse and repeat business. The direct marketing principles that we bring to the table and continue to have to oftentimes pull ourselves back to are at the base of what we do. Are you learning new things, or how does that work in your world?
Yeah, what a great question. Oh boy, there's a whole show on that right there. But yes, I am learning stuff every day. Last night I went to Women Founders Network, watched 10 women pitch their products, from hormone therapy to a new CPG product, how to get apartments quicker and faster, just amazing things. They were all vying for a $25,000 award. I learned so much last night. There's also at that event 100 entrepreneurial women that are in high school. And just talking to them, I thought to myself, I was, skateboarding and probably having a beer or two or whatever I was doing when I was in high school. These women are like the future, and the future's sound. So yes, I'm learning stuff every day. At the same time, what's old is new and what's new is old. Yeah. We keep coming up with new channels and new ways of selling and new data to look at those things. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to, is the product good? Can you demonstrate to your customer that that product works? Do you have a great story and a great spokesperson? That's really PDSS. I use it all the time. It's really still about that. And it's still the techniques they used in, print ads 150 years ago still work to this day. Don't be fooled that there is something new out there. If you go back and you learn and you study, the lessons are there and you can apply them to today with new technologies, but the ideas are still there. They're the same old ones.
Kind of cut some chops at Playboy, again, one of the most known logos in the entire world.
Premier.
Guys, I can tell you, like I said, 36 countries I was responsible for. Every country I went to, I don't care, they don't speak English. It's Greece, where it's all Greek to me. The lettering, it doesn't matter. You show the Playboy bunny head logo. Mm-hmm. Sure, hopefully it's facing the right direction, right? It faces to the right. You show that, it doesn't matter. It's as popular as any logo you've ever seen. It doesn't matter. You can go to places where they've never even seen television and they've seen the Playboy logo. Oh, Playboy. Mm-hmm. They know the stories. And the reason that's interesting to me, that really changed my life about a brand. And you may think whatever you like about Playboy, like it, hate it, you think it's good, bad, or the ugly. They had a disciplined hierarchy of belief, of their brand, and they never swayed from that. They believed in the freedom of speech, in the freedom of expression, that sexuality is how every one of us got here. And even in the handbook that they give you on day one, it says, look, if you're offended by talk of sexuality or a breast, something like that, this is not the place for you. And that came from Christy Hefner. They were not fooling anybody, and it was a great opportunity for me to learn about a brand. I never had really thought about it before until I worked there. The thickness of the paper, the quality of the products, the people that they had write the articles, all of those things were at a level that they never swayed from.
It mattered.
Oh, it mattered. I learned so much there.
It's those fine details that if you can make it and you make it work, it pushes these brands over the edge, because it's like someone says, oh, they really thought about this.
I mean, logos are so important. Brand is so important. but I have never in my life struggled with brand design, coming up with colors, fonts, emotions involved. In the last year, we've dealt with a lot with this together.
Well, I tell you, luckily, I've been fortunate enough to work on so many brands that are from the get-go with an idea. And through that, of course, everything you create has to have a look and feel, and it's very personal.
Yeah.
They love something, and so they want to make it this way or this color. I don't really look at it this way. I think about the customer first. I think about, number one, what does the instant package tell you right away? What is the color? We use the wheel, the wheel of colors to tell us what that emotion is and things like that. And it causes some of the biggest, what's the word I would say, conversations, because people are very, very passionate about it. I try to take the emotion out of it, and I stick to it. Hey, if it's something that the customer wants to have trust in, it needs to look a certain way. If it's fun, it's another way. And so at the end of the day, you go through a lot of stuff. You have to listen to everybody, and then you have discussions about it. But it is a big thing. So I think anybody out there that's going through that should understand it's part of the process. I think it will make your product and your logo and your brand better. But at the end of the day, you probably at some day will look back and go, either what the hell were we thinking, or man, we got it right the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say that until like the last 3 years, I was really never involved in anything regarding the creative. I mean, we would give our comments and things, but now that we are involved and so much deeper into it, your job is difficult because everyone sees it totally different. Everyone has their own different opinions on it. And it's hard to smooth those over because, to what you just said, everyone is so passionate. It can become a very difficult discussion about it.
Yeah, we just went through this with a premium, which is something that you give along with the product when you're selling it. You get it for free, so to speak. And we were just all focused on this premium. And we got caught up, and we were letting the design tail kind of wag the marketing dog, right? And you corrected me one night, and you're like, hey, what are we doing here? I had this epiphany. I said, what are we selling? Are we selling this, or are we actually selling the solution to the main problem here? It's supportive, it's adjunct. Let's not lose focus on that. And I think we did 180 on that, and I think we made the right decision.
You know, I remember going to an educational opportunity through Guthrie-Rinker with a gentleman named Dan Kennedy, one of the most respected guys in direct response. Just like he's forgotten more than I've ever known. And he was talking about premiums and bonuses and the law of reciprocity, right? Hey, we're going to give you this free thing. I mean, you go to the mall, right? You get the piece of pretzel, maybe a taste or sample of something. That's reciprocity. Mm-hmm. You taste that, we give you something, and they go, you know what? Thank you very much. You're a nice person. I'm going to buy your product. And same thing that's what these bonus or free gift with purchases are all about. We want to get your trust. We want to give you something, and they go, wow, they're nice people. I'm going to buy their product. But then, Rob, you get down to what that gift is. And what Dan Kennedy would say is, you can give them a free gift, but if somebody is buying, a supplement, you don't want to give them a shoe. Mm-hmm. There wants to be an overlapping element of these products. So if you're giving somebody a supplement, maybe you want to give them a cookbook, but that cookbook better be about whatever the supplement's related to. Mm-hmm. So it's part of a package, and it's like at the end of the day, a strong word in marketing these days is certainly system.
Yeah.
So if you give somebody the system that's going to get rid of their product, it's everything you need. All you need to do is, put your credit card down, and we've done the work.
Yeah.
Everything you need. So that's what's
I
really
learned
important.
Very early on from Doug and Gary that the first thing.
Why are you using other guys' name when I'm right here?
Doug and Gary Deutsch, your aliases.
Oh, good.
One of the first things you ask your customer once they have their credit card out or they're on your website or whatever is you offer them more of the same. And that could be buy one, get one. It could be a bigger package. It could be, spend more for the full system, etc. And then you move down the tree from there. Then you go to highly correlated items and you keep asking the questions until it doesn't make sense because you're either annoying them or your percentage of conversion is so low that it
or
doesn't
the amount
make sense.
of money you're spending to get these extra questions through talk time and all the things. Those are all the things you have to think about. And I would say one thing, Rob, to what you were just talking about is selling more of what you've already sold them is obviously a very easy strategy. You've spent an infomercial or a commercial or a radio broadcast talking about it, so they're already informed. But you need to have a reason that they should have more. Either the price is so much better, or customers we found who have purchased this, they always come back. So right now you can get more for less, or you're going to feel even better after more time using it. So we recommend you get this thing. So always tell the customer the reason they should consider getting more.
And I think, it's so expensive to acquire a new customer now that when you do acquire them, you want to get the most dollars out of them to increase that AOV. And it's not just on the call, but it's also month after month after month. And I know that you've done a lot of that. If you want to, get
AOV meaning average order value. So it's a great point, Bill. When you pay to get somebody in the door, think about it like a salesperson knocking on a door, whatever you may be. Once you're in front of them, you want to sell them as much as you can to make it worth your while. And so when we pay so much to acquire a customer, we have to make sure that we're getting the most and extracting value, because again, we're in media and our competitors are all doing it, the smart ones, the ones that are alive and making money at it. And we have to be doing the same.
So much in that right there. There's a whole nother show, but Bill, I'm going to go back to what you said. First of all, from a marketer standpoint, I think your words were, we want to get the most money out of them, right? In the marketer's voice, we want to give them so much opportunity to feel better, or to get that relief, or to get happiness, or better skin, that we want to use, like, we care so much about you, we want to give you an opportunity to do this thing. Yes, I have luckily learned from the best in the business, Guthrie-Rinker, about subscription and continuity. And repositioning that not as like, oh, that's that thing, and I don't want you to keep stuffing stuff down my throat, but to present it in a value and a benefit. The freshest product comes to you monthly. You save money. We don't have to ship to you every month. We can ship to you in 90 days. All of those things lead to what you said, which is average order value, showing a value to the customer. But more importantly, and if people that are listening today only get one thing, this would be it. It's about the continuity, because Bill, you're right. The most important and expensive thing is to get that customer. The worst thing you could ever do is just one off and lose that customer. Why would you want to respend that money over and over again? Lifetime value is the key. Get them to buy something and continue to sell to them in an effective, hopefully authentic way that they want. And at the end of the day, they feel the value, so they stay with you for the long thing, because month after month after month, if you can get that money coming in, you're into jet airplane money.
I like it.
What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in direct-to-consumer marketing? You talked about some of the principles being the same, tried and true. The categories really don't change that much. But what are some of the things we're at the forefront with AI, et cetera? What are you seeing?
Yeah, there's so much happening right now. I mean, it's daily. It really is. It's daily. I can remember sort of getting a newsletter back, years ago, and there was nothing new. It was sort of a repeat of what we had already seen, or something's coming, blah, blah, blah. Literally every day, there is something I get in my inbox that's like, holy crap, I need to use that right now. Mm-hmm. Whether that's generating content, whether that's some algorithm that helps you to sort of do things, whether it's getting better hooks, or better ideas, or punching up a script, or whatever it might be. Do I even need a shoot anymore? All of those things, it's happening so fast. Rob, with that said, the bottom line is AI is an incredible tool. I honestly feel like I'm giving my clients and my customers so much more value now, because I sort of am doing the work, and my team is doing the work of not one person, they're doing three. Three people are doing seven are doing 20. And it's better work. And it's more thought-provoking. It doesn't allow me to just sort of wait to the last second and do this. It allows me to go deeper and ask it again. So I think that technology is great. The second thing I'd say is reporting. Where is that order coming from? Who is that customer? Where do they live? How much money do they make? What else do they want? How can we service them in a better way and speak to them in a better way? So I'd say the technology, the reporting, but I always love this story from Greg. I remember Greg Rinker and Bill Guthrie always saying this to me. And I'm sure everybody that worked at Guthrie-Rinker knows this, that back in the day, in the late 80s and the 90s, they used to put a show or a new infomercial on the air. They'd come in, they'd air it over a weekend. They'd come in Monday morning out to Palm Desert, and they'd say, do we have a hit? And they would know right that morning if they had a hit or not. Now, Bill and Greg say, I've got literally floors of people. I've got a whole, business development staff looking at the numbers, lawyers and just incredibly detailed, smart people. I got every detail and data. It takes months and months to figure out if you have a winner. More information, more sometimes confusion. That's why you're going to hear me say this over and over. It's half data and it's half gut. And I know people will argue with me, and I know there's data people out there that just say, oh, the algorithm and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to fall into that. I believe that there's gut, and when you have the experience and you have the vibe or the energy about your product, this is a winner. You got to trust your gut.
The problem, I agree with you, the problem with data, and we see it time and time again, is that stagnation of trying to be exact, of trying to get it right. That stagnation of data can really, we're experiencing it right now, it can trip you up from rolling out on something that could be potentially a hit. And back in the day, you would just hit the gas pedal.
Yeah, it is, right? It's what's a paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
I think there's no better thing said than that. And it's like, but what if and stuff like that. In the old days, it's like, I know this product is great. I know it works. We've demonstrated to the customer that it works. Our story is incredible. And we have a spokesperson who is awesome and authentic. And if you have those four things, take the data, and but put that emotion into it, and I would trust that, and I'm willing to go. And some people get upset at me because I'm very passionate. If you don't know, because you can't see me, I'm 6'5". I am bald, and
No, you're not.
Thank you, Bill.
We're AIing some hair.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm loud. And that's who I am. I'm a guy, and I'm loud. And so some people mistake my passion for anger or think, no, man, let's talk about it. Let's debate. Let's have your idea. I want to hear you. I want to hear why you want that package or you want that statement or whatever. And I want to tell you mine. Then let's make a decision, or let the boss make a decision.
Right, make a choice and move on.
Yeah, Rob. One more thing about the data and stuff like that, and algorithms and the thing. It's important to me. And I'd love to hear from people out there. Please, go to eForce Brands, look me up on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from you. But I also believe that if you start with a better ad, whether that's Meta, whether that's TikTok, whether that's Snapchat, whether it's television, if you start with a better ad, that algorithm will make it better faster. So if you, a lot of people I hear today, they say, well, no, we're going to put this out there and it's good enough. And it's like, it's not good enough. That's not good enough. That needs to be fixed. That's against our brand, or or whatever it is. Yes, the algorithm will fix it, but let's start at a 9 and go to 12. Let's not go from a 4 to a 7. So that's the way I want to look at that.
So have done now, I bet we've done 12 of these podcasts. I have my own podcast. I've probably done 20 of those now. You are the first guest that we've had on that during the actual podcast, you marketed yourself. And I will say, if you don't think this guy's a marketer, that just shows you that if you can't market yourself and you can't market who you are, well, how are you going to market someone else's product?
I thought you were going to say I'm the best guest. I was waiting. I was going to give you the word because I felt like you were waiting for it.
Stop when you're ahead, Eric.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. It's very important. And again, I'm honestly here, and I'm at the stage where I love to mentor. I have so much information because somebody gave it to me. Whether you're reading, your favorite book about play bigger or, how to influence people, whatever it is, pass that information down. Like last night, I mentioned I went to that event and there was 85 to 100 girls. They're just super smart. I tried to make sure I didn't embarrass myself by them showing me up because they're so smart. They're so gifted. They're so detailed and on it that I just love to pass down. They want to hear this stuff. So I really recommend that. And by the way, the Let's Make Millions, I mean, am I getting paid? I just want to go back over this. Am I getting paid for this? Is there money?
Are
we making millions? Do I get a piece?
We will be.
You get a free coffee.
A free ticket. I'll take it.
It's
Thank
interesting.
you.
Marketing is more accessible to people than it's ever been, right? I think. You're seeing entrepreneurs start a brand and exit in 18 months for crazy money because they have access to creating the content, to getting the feedback, to rolling out. It's an interesting world we live in. It's moving so fast. Media is fragmented, but the number of marketers is fragmented as well. And so you have to sort through all of this clutter, not only in our feeds of what you think, what's real, what's from China, et cetera. You see so many products. What do you look for? What are some of the fundamental things you look for to say that's something that could work?
Wow. Couple things there, Rob. First of all, you talked about everybody having access to the marketplace now, right? Whether it's Amazon, whether it's social media, anybody can make a product and be out there today. And you do see these numbers, right? And sort of reminds me of professional athletes like football players. And you look back at salaries like in the 70s, and guys made $43,000. And now some guy gets, Shohei Ohtani gets $325 million or $500 million. It's insane. So yes, that means there's more bifurcation, there's more opportunity. It's all of those things. But what I'm looking for is, and I looked for it last night at that event, is what problem does your product solve? People don't wake up thinking, I need to buy your product today. Mm-hmm. They wake up, they're tired, they're stressed, they have families, they've got money problems, whatever job problems, whatever it could be. You have to break through. They see 10,000 ads a day through their phone, through their billboard, through their television or digital, wherever they're going to a magazine. They see so much. You've got to break through that. So that means with all that stuff, you better break through faster. I'm sure everybody here knows about AIDA, right? Attention, interest, desire, and action. That hook used to be 7 seconds. Then it was 5 seconds. Then it's 3 seconds. I'm convinced that first frame has to tell you something that you want to know about. I told you about from Playboy. My whole life has been influenced by brands. I didn't think so until I looked back and thought, okay, I love BMW. I loved Adidas. Back in high school, I loved Ocean Pacific for all you Southern California surfers out there. I couldn't wear something if it didn't have OP on it. I didn't think I was such a brand sucker until I got into that. So it's such a complicated thing. But does your product solve the problem? Does it work? Mm-hmm. Can you prove it to a customer? And do you have, I'll call them before and afters, but testimonials, people that say, that product changed my life. I feel better. I look better. And one last thing, it probably stems from, and people say, oh, that's from you working at Playboy. No, this idea stems from my childhood, I'm sure. But does it have sex appeal? Does it make you feel better about your life? Do you feel better when you wear it? Hope when you look at when you put it on. It smell good? Does it make your hair fantastic? Do you look thinner? Are you happier? Are you less pain? All of those things. And it just does it make you feel sexy? I call it sex appeal. And some people have it, some products have it, and some don't. Remind me to tell you about one of my greatest accomplishments. It's a good thing, but I'll tell you about it in a minute. But there's Bill, we call that a tease. But I'm going to tell people something that will give them hope.
So I read something this past weekend, and it was about there's so much content out there now that unless brands are comfortable being a little brash, if that's the right word, like being different, so you are the thumb stopper, they're having a big problem because you see so much of the same content and so much of it looks and feels the same way. I believe that now, at least on like social media, unless you do something different, it's hard to stand out.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when you look back at print and then the evolution through infomercials and television, that scroll, that interruption of the consumer experience, who again isn't waking up in the morning, very big point there. They're not waking up in the morning looking to buy your product.
Yeah.
They are bored oftentimes, and they're flipping through social media, they're flipping through a guide or channels or streaming or what have you, and you have to interrupt that experience. And you have to bop them in the nose and say, look at me. And it's becoming, that first frame is becoming very, very important.
The point you made about the frame stopping and the instant, stopping of his thing. What channel are you talking about? You cannot talk, worldwide, like one thing is right. Mm-hmm. No, maybe on TikTok, maybe on Snapchat. But at the end of the day, when I get my Snapchat ads, and my daughter who works for Hilton Corporation, when I get those and they look like this big corporate ad, and stuff like that, I was like, honey, go to the marketing department and tell them, let's get this fixed. That's not right for this market.
We just talked about that the other day. How many billboards do you see driving on the highway in fine print.
Oh,
You don't even know.
yeah.
And it's like, who spent
Wasting
money on
the
this?
money.
This
Because
is a joke.
somebody who just doesn't know, they didn't work with experts or they haven't been through the process, thought, let's take what worked over here. It worked. Let's put it over there on a billboard. And they put, and I've seen this, and some very famous brands have done this with small type and like 50 words on a billboard, and you're driving 75 miles an hour. No. So first of all, what channel are you talking to? Who are you talking to in that channel? All of those things have to be asked. I'm not convinced that the hook has to be incredibly fast on a television commercial as it does have to be on an Instagram ad. An Instagram ad, somebody's there, they're shopping. If they're on QVC, they're there with their credit card out. That's very different than if you've got somebody who's making dinner and their kids are screaming and you're running an ad, and if you don't break through and get their attention, we use all kinds of tricks. I'm sure a brand I used to consult for used to do a big warning label at the front of their commercials and their things like that. You could not look away.
Yeah.
It was incredibly smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You think back to some of the brands that have gone viral from one or two single pieces of content that have essentially made the brand. You look back at Dollar Shave Club, and if you can get to YouTube, go look at it, watch it. It was at the forefront of doing something extremely unique, put them on the map, $1 billion exit.
Yeah.
Dr. Squatch. I mean, again and again, there's unique ways that people have come to the marketplace through these channels in the right way that I would say maybe made them a success in and of that one video alone.
I liken it now, Bill, to the before and after. I know it's very different than the head-to-head, but if I can show you your skin, and I can show you what our product does for your skin in 30, 60, 90, 120 days, and that difference is so great. And I put them right next to each other, and I use the appropriate way, either side by side, I use a slider bar, I put a circle on the change, whatever it is, you can instantly say that product works. I remember, one of my most favorite products working on and being a part of the start of it was Crepe Erase. A lot of people know it. It's been on television since 2013. Started from nothing, worked with a great group of people.
And it's a skincare product that gets rid of wrinkles.
I'm sorry.
and
But
yeah.
when people ask, like, Eric, what is the thing you're most proud of? I've done a lot of things that I'm proud of. Believe me, I've made a lot of mistakes. And that's part of why people hire me. We've made so many mistakes.
Very
We've learned
smart.
from every one of
We
those
continue
things.
to.
Oh, yeah.
it's
Every
absolutely
day.
Test and test
Every day.
and test business.
And
yeah.
so I can help save you money because I've already made that mistake and you don't have to pay for it. That's one thing. But with Crepe Erase, what I'm most proud about is the fact that we created an entire category. In 2012, 13, 14, there was nobody talking about crepey skin. Nobody. Yeah. Look at it now. Go to the store now. There's aisles of, right on the label, crepey skin, crepey skin. So to be a part of creating that with the help of the greatest people at Guthrie-Rinker and the minds and the magic there, but being passionate about it. Bill, a few minutes ago, you talked about sort of like going to the corporate, a great idea, going to a corporation and then all of a sudden it falling off. I got to say this to everybody, and there's so many passionate founders out there. You must have a passionate person, probably the founder or developer, associated with the brand at all times. Once you lose that connection, you've lost everything. Jamie Kern-Lima, think about her. Okay,
It Cosmetics.
It Cosmetics.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard that story over and over again? Chaz Dean with Wen. Those people
Shark
live.
Ninja.
Shark Ninja.
Yeah.
You, they live, they breathe. That's their baby. And when they're in the business, man. They're in the Cindy Crawford in Meaningful Beauty. These people, they're not just faces. They are in every detail, and it matters.
Trust.
And everything has to be right.
Yeah.
And when I think about those brands, I look at those brands and I go, Victoria Jackson and No Makeup. So many things over the years, they're in every detail. They're not just a name. That's why you've got to be careful when you attach celebrities to products, right? We brought Jane Seymour in for that, and hopefully you've seen Jane out there. She's been doing it for a long time. She sells Crepe Erase, not sells, she gives it away. Let me make sure that goes out correctly. She gives away Crepe Erase in her trunk. She loves it so much. She is the best spokesman because it works. She loves it and makes her feel great. She says one of the favorite lines to me. She had a divorce in her life decades ago, and she talked about Crepe Erase and using Crepe Erase the first couple of times she used it. And she remembers when she went on a date with a guy, and that gentleman put his hand on her knee, and she remembered the confidence that she felt with that hand on that knee and how great her skin felt, how young her skin felt, that smoothness, that no crepe. And she talks about that like it's so important to her because that's a true story. You cannot duplicate that. AI can't make that. It can't think of that. That comes from somebody's heart. And that's why, Rob, I think with AI, it's going to all come around. Our brains, I honestly believe, can detect it.
Yeah.
I believe that we can see the frame or the blink or the color or the tonality. Something our brain is designed to know is going to say that's not authentic. I think that's why we're going to come around to reality and authenticity.
Real people, real results.
100%.
You've done a lot of testimonials for us, with other companies. How important are testimonials? The founder story is important because that real passion comes through on film, but you need real people, real results. You can't just hire people to say, I love this product.
How many times have you been involved with a product that somebody says it's this product is the greatest, it does something great, and you're like, great, what sort of clinicals do you have? What testimonials? What reviews? Oh, well, the people in the office and my sister has been using it. They really love it. It's like, guys, if you have a product that works, it doesn't matter what it is. Start collecting those statements from people, video clips, UGC from people at home, user-generated content, all of those things that people are saying how great your product. Get a 20-person little company-sponsored user group. Give it to 20 people. Let them use it for a time. Have them record their journey, do videos, and then get them back in a studio and do it in a professional way. That way you've got daily UGC, you've got professional stuff. Use that content. I mean, think about it. Chevrolet, is that a company everybody knows? Yeah, Chevy a few times. They did a whole campaign for 3 years that started off real people, not actors, on a white graphic, on a black, white words on a black screen. Real people. Well, no shit, they're real people. But they felt compelled enough to say, we better say real people. I put it on every before and after. Real customer, real thing, not retouched. Because you have to tell people, yes, you know it, and yes, of course it is. It's funny, Rob, when you go to focus groups, and I've sat luckily in so many focus groups to listen to the customer talk about the ad, the number one thing they say, well, when we ask them, well, what's the thing that convinced you about our product? Well, the before and afters, those were really great. I saw the skin, or I saw the black dark spot, or I saw the shoe, or I saw whatever. That's really great. By the way, what's the number one thing that you didn't believe in our commercial? Oh, the before and afters. I know they're all fake. They literally, in the same sentence, will say the before and afters convinced them, and the before and afters are all fake. They still believe the before and afters. They want to believe. So you must
the
have
hope
those.
and the emotion. Yeah.
One important thing for a lot of people out there that are doing supplements or things like that, it's very difficult to get a before and after on a supplement, right? Well, I feel better. I feel more, my brain is sharper. Well, those are feeling words. Those are great and very important. But how can you record that in a way that all customers can go, I believe it? Because customers do three things. They see something, they hear something, and they feel something. You must make sure you're approaching your customer and touching all three of those bases. Your product better be seen and visual, it better be heard that it's great, and it better make them feel something, not only tactily, like my skin is smooth, my hair is shiny and wonderful, but it make them feel something emotionally.
And that's why tears can be so important, right? If that real emotion comes out, there's no faking that, right? We've seen it again and again in many commercials, and that hero testimonial oftentimes will carry the entire show.
And guess what? That's free.
Yeah.
That testimonial from a customer can come from somebody in their living room, their bathroom, driving in their car, wherever it is. That's free. It is absolutely worth $1 billion. You've seen it. I know everybody out there has had, when they've seen a testimonial or their own for their own product, you go, oh my God, that's worth $1 million. There's a tear in the eye, an emotional thing, a lean in, all of those things. Or people go out there and try to fake it, right? Let me prompt some people to say something. I can smell it a million miles away, and so can the customer.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add two things. Is a trick that I do now is when we have a new post or a new ad for TV, I close my eyes and listen to it. And if I feel something and I know what they're selling or what we're trying to sell, then I know it's there, because you want to be able to hear it.
Super smart,
Yeah,
Bill.
it reminds me of something. Is early on, I would watch infomercials when I was in college. I was enthralled with them.
That's weird.
To be a marketer and to be in advertising, you're obsessed with it. You're obsessed
Yes.
with it. We think about it all the time. You have to study marketing. You have to see what is working in the marketplace. You have to have a passion for it in general in order to apply it to whatever you're going to be doing in the marketing space.
I used to do some training at Guthrie-Rinker and train some of the new people that came in, and I have all kinds of cards and things that we use to sort of help people. But one of the number one things is to be a great marketer, you really need to forget what you love. You have to think what the customer loves. It's really hard to do because it's very personal to us, right? I use a lot of personal stuff in the things that I do, but you have to think from a customer standpoint. What did you see that made you want to buy a product? Well, that's pretty good. That's probably a lot of people like you. Super important to tap into that. But Bill, back to what you said, I look at an ad in a couple different ways before I ever, send it to a station, whether it's radio, TV, CTV, digital, whatever it is. I just turn away and I listen to it. I turn the sound off and I watch it. And I also do a lot of radio testing. Put your spot on a radio, but buy some radio time and listen to it. Did it sell the customer without a visual? If it didn't, guess what? You're not using enough visual words. Do you see the changes in the skin? Look at the difference. There's actual
Get
C
them to
words.
envision it.
Yeah, and then on television where you're seeing a lot, you can use auditory words. Listen to the sound of this engine. It's so quiet. Oh, or whatever it is. Those types of, or we use imagine language a lot, right? That's Greg Ranker 101. Imagine how you would feel if you had this happen to you. So Bill, you said at the minute ago, you started your thing by, I close my eyes and listen, right? Tell people, close your eyes and imagine. Guess what? Everybody, even if they're driving, they will close their eyes. If you tell people, we do this on ads a lot, stop. Put a big stop sign up on the thing. Or with Cindy Crawford's Meaningful Beauty. Breaking news. That came from Mick Diener. So thank you, Mick, out there. Taught me a lot. Breaking news. People go, breaking news, I've got to listen. Those are the things those little techniques that you can use to stop people. Because guess what? Another thing, if you start an ad, whether it's digital or not, and they're looking right into the lens, and they're talking sort of in a close-up, let's call it sort of a waist up or higher or tighter frame, you can't look away. It's rude. It's rude to look away from people. Your parents taught you that. So don't go against what you know. They're talking to you. You're going to give them a second to tell you something. And if you don't hook them, they're going to go away. But you've got them right there. There's lots of trips.
Well, I'm going to be rude and ask you to stop right now and ask you to do something as we wrap this up that is going to be very challenging for you. But we're going to ask you questions and have you fire off a response.
You got it.
I'll start. What's the favorite brand that you didn't get to work on?
That Apple, the 1984, that ad. I wish I could say I worked on that I was part of the idea, that thought so deep, and worked with Steve Jobs and Ridley Scott. I wish I could say that.
Yeah. Professional habit. Do you have something that you can't do without? What's your best professional habit?
Play golf. Play golf so that you can go and play with other people that are in the business. I really love that. Professional habit, go to every event you can go to. Learn, listen, give advice, mentor, be involved. There's so much. It makes you better. I mean, you're just better for it. You're smart and ask to be challenged. And I got to get better at this, but I want to challenge people. And I'll use that word, and maybe I got to get I got to go to the words that sell and look up a better word than challenge. But I'll say to Bill Raymond, Bill, I want to challenge that, what you just said. And I'm not saying you're wrong or I'm better or you're an asshole or I'm whatever it is. I'm asking you, prove that to me. Give me the data or the stat or the example or your personal belief that makes that true. And that's what I want. And then oftentimes I'll go, oh, you got me. I love that. And where you thought I wanted you to change, you just supported your idea. And I said, dude, right on. I love what you just said.
You've dealt with so many celebrities and you are around so many,
Winners.
people that have done well. Yeah. I know myself at times I can get a little nervous around people like that. How do you make yourself calm when you meet people like that and carry on with them?
That's a really great question, Bill. So I'm going to give you a story, and then I'm going to tell you what it is. I was in my office in Guthrie-Rinker, and I had, I think, 5 or 6 people in my office. I remember the day like it was yesterday. And I was there, and I had a glass office. So, 3 of the walls were glass. And I was talking to these people, and I happened to be looking out through the glass. And walking by was a kind of an entourage of people. And I looked at the woman, and I go, that's Jennifer Lopez. And that's J-Lo. And I just got up out of this meeting, probably mid-conversation, and I opened up my office door and I said, "Hi, Jennifer, welcome to Guthrie-Rinker." And she already had a bunch of people with her, including the tops of the tops. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to talk to her. I just, like, my feet walked me out of the office. She is so beautiful. Her skin is so amazing. She was dressed to the nines, so sharp. And we just struck up a conversation about her dance show that I just happened to see the night before. She was so involved, and so she loved the people. I mean, that was the thing. So I just wasn't afraid. And the reason I got lucky, thank you, Bill and Greg, for putting me oftentimes in an opportunity to be with so many celebrities. But the difference is they're looking at me for expertise. They believe, because my experience, my age, my Guthrie-Rinker history, that I am an expert in what I do.
Because you are.
Because, well, I appreciate that. But Bill, while I might be nervous and of exposure, or what's the fear?
Starstruck.
Or what's the thing of being exposed, like you do?
Right.
All those things.
Yeah. Fraud,
all those things. You go in there, and those people are looking at you, going like, "This guy's going to make me money. He's a professional at what he's doing. He's going to protect me. He's going to make me look great. And at the end of the day, we're in a business together, and we're going to work together." And so I just always relied on the fact that I'm not Eric Deutsch. I'm a professional in what I do, and we're going to make great music together. Basically, people ask me about what's one of my greatest accomplishments, and again, like that's something that I really have. But I do have a story that I love to tell, because it tells people that you can accomplish anything. When I was at Guthrie-Rinker, I was in charge of a brand new hair care line. Big celebrity, a great product, a lot of product development went into this packaging. Guthrie-Rinker never does anything half-assed. They do it very, very professionally. They go into it knowing they have a winner and that they're going to figure it out. If it doesn't win right away, we'll figure it out. So we put a lot of work into this, and as most brands out there know, you need to meet the customer where they are. And of course, that means digital and television, all those things, but it also means retail for a lot of brands. So Guthrie-Rinker, which doesn't do a lot of retail because we do direct-to-consumer advertising, said, we're going to go to Sephora. Okay, so brand new hair care brand, we're going to go to Sephora. And who are we going to have to go up to San Francisco, where the main office is at Sephora, to pitch this hair care line? Eric, you're going to lead this. And I just kind of raised my hand in front of all the top brass at Guthrie-Rinker. I said, I don't know if anybody has noticed this, because I'm 6'5", but I am bald.
I need a wig.
Yeah, and I'm going to go up to and if you've ever worked with Sephora, they're great at what they do. They don't horse around. They're very sharp. They're very on top of their brand, and they're very specific, and they are a hard ass. I don't know what else to use. So I got real nervous. I was going to go. So I went with a good, solid group of people. You never do anything alone in this business. You're always part of a team. So I went up with the team, but I was going to go out there and be sort of the face of this brand. So I walk into Sephora. They put us in a conference room. I was nervous. My armpits were probably sweating, probably through my jacket. I think I put Scotch Guard on the inside of my jacket so it didn't come through. And we get in there. They sit us in there, and they're going to be here in a minute. They're going to be in 2 minutes. And they're all of a sudden, this group of very powerful women walk in, and I'm sitting there. We've got the product laid out. Yes, we have the team with me, and I always have the support. And I remember the head of their hair care division, and they're very strict about what they take, walked in the room, sort of stopped right there, almost like the record scratch. And she looked at me and she said, "You must be very good at what you do for them to send you here to sell a hair care product." And I looked at them and I said, "Yes, I am." And we went in there. We did a great job. Thank goodness to the team. We got the product in there. I'm sure somebody saved the day. But that's what happens when you believe in your brand and you believe in a great product, and you're prepared. You're not winging it. You're prepared. You know your brand inside and out. And more importantly, you know what it can do for their customer. That's the key. At the end of the day, forget what the brand, honestly, forget what the brand is all about. You better be using you language. Yeah. And you better be able to tell you at home what this product can do for you. Because it's not about your problem or your brand. It's about what you can do for the customer.
How can people find out more about eForce Brands?
Thanks. Look us up. We're everywhere, eForceBrands.com. Look for my gear. I wear it around a lot. I should have worn it today. Boy, that was a
where's
mistake.
our swag?
And just more importantly, look at Eric Deutsch on LinkedIn, or eForce Brands on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from people. And by the way, if you don't agree with me of something I've said today, please, I'd love to to hear from you more. I'll move you to the front
Challenge
of the line.
him.
Challenge. Please do. And I'd love to learn. And if you've got examples, I know there are. There's no hard and fast. You've got to be able to iterate. But please look me up. eForce Brands, Eric Deutsch. I'd love to talk to people. Let's make millions.